This headline, front page, Washington Post. Here we are again. NSA broke privacy rules for 3 years, according to the latest round of documents.
What's interesting
this doesn't stop
is that
every day.
The White House released a lot of declassified information yesterday from the Director of National Intelligence just in the hours before the serious speech, so it was hard to absorb two big stories at one time. I mean, certainly this is the kind of thing that would have seized the attention of talk shows and the cable shows in the afternoon, but being overshadowed by Syria. But they did declassify a lot of interesting documents dealing with foreign intelligence surveillance.
So, pardon me, good for the Washington Post for not burying it altogether and putting it on the front page. Rebecca Sinderbrand didn't let them bury this either. She's a deputy White House editor for Politico, joins us on our news line this morning, has been reporting on this. Hi, Rebecca. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for joining us. So what is the latest? What did we learn about the privacy rules? For 3 years, NSA is actually, but let me back up. Lynn and I both heard, and you have too, Rebecca, President Obama say at the White House, I'm confident that there's been no abuse of NSA by looking into people's phone calls and everything. I'm confident that they might got the mega data, but they listen in any phone calls. This sort of says, oh, yes, they did, didn't they?
Well, that's right. And, it's important to note 2 points. First of all, as Lynn very smartly notes, you don't want to call this necessarily a new dump, but when you're releasing something like this in the hours before a major presidential address, you're basically giving a tip of the hat to the fact that this probably isn't going to grab front-page headlines in most of the nation's newspapers. You're basically expecting that it's going to get buried by a much larger story. So clearly a bit of strategy from the White House there. The defense that we've heard from the White House is something that we've heard from them quite a bit on this. This is a familiar line from Clapper, that these sorts of indiscretions with the program were only uncovered because of aggressive monitoring. So, the NSA itself, discovered this problem. Of course, in each of these instances, when we've heard about this, the problem was long-standing and continued for years before being uncovered or before being stopped. And so this is not some sort of one-off. This is a repeat occurrence with each of these problems that have been uncovered with the agency. So
they take credit for uncovering it themselves.
Well, actually, I'm looking at the note, and I'm sure this is not no surprise to this is not secret because it was part of the letter that was released under Clapper's name. Clapper is the Director of National Intelligence. At the very end of a long letter explaining in the most dense language possible, the most this is not plain spoken when you look at what they released.
It's governmentese.
Governmentese. But at the very end, he says, oh, by the way, he says, once these, what they call compliance incidents, now could you think of a more obfuscating term, were discovered in the telephony metadata collection program, additional checks, balances, and safeguards were developed to help prevent future instances of noncompliance. Talk about, that's the last sentence. I would think they buried the lead.
Well, hey, Rebecca, so first, this again is all, or is it part of what we learned from Edward Snowden?
That's right. The other kind of, this is one of those programs that was disclosed when Edward Snowden leaked it in June. Of course, what we're kind of learning from this, the information that was released yesterday and the information that was released by Snowden is these programs were so complex that, number one, seems like a lot of people at the NSA itself didn't really understand the technology that they were working with, and number two, and, the government has used that to some extent as a defense here. And also that the court that was set up for the monitoring of this was completely overwhelmed. And, it's so complex that the court itself also really wasn't equipped. And that's giving a lot of fodder to critics who would like to beef up the oversight.
I think that's an important point, Lynn, where I said we don't have to worry about this because the FISA court is there. In the last month or so, the head of the FISA court came out and said, we don't have the expertise to know when NSA is cheating or when they're not, or kind of what they're doing. We depend on them to tell us. So,
well, the
FISA court is not the protector of this of consumers or of the American people.
A judge is not an investigator, and that is true. Even when you go to court and you state a material fact, under sufferance of punishment, you will be punished if you don't tell the truth. But every fact that's presented to the judge, I read some of the declassified documents that were part of the disclosures yesterday. If you challenged every assertion in there, it would be impossible to have a court hearing. And this could be true whether it's a routine matter or not. But judges, the other side is judges handle complex cases all the time in a variety of subject areas.
Right. So, Rebecca, here's the deal. This is the latest. As I say, it seems like there's another shoe that drops every day, right, about the NSA. We heard of, there's the DEA stuff came out last time. Some of this information was used by drug enforcement agencies. Some people say the IRS was using part of this. The FISA court has complained about thousands of violations over the years from NSA. So, I mean, it looks like an agency that's like out of control with this program. Is this going to lead to any corrective action by Congress?
Well, that's one of those things that I think it's looking more and more likely, and it's something that a lot of people are going to expect. The issue with disclosures like this is that they come out at a time that people almost seem to have been inured to the headlines. And so, the question is whether members of Congress can kind of sustain the will that they seem to have at this moment to alter the way that the program is operated. We do know that as a result of the breach of the court's orders, the court essentially put the NSA on probation, right? We know this, that they had an advanced approval process that continued for some time at least. So the fact that at least for some time a process that required that kind of advanced case by case approval was in place, that could support arguments from civil liberties groups and other critics, congressional critics, who said, look, the court should be involved every single time a number is added to the list. It may be cumbersome, but we need to equip the court with the tools that it can maintain that level of involvement.